What is the right age for women to have children?
So if you want to have 2 children and you don't want IVF, your first child should be by the age of 27. So A, as mothers and grandmothers said, before the age of 30, please get married and have children. Unfortunately, the saying is true. But to put it into perspective, there was a very, very interesting, and I think that's the only study done across the world. I think in Netherlands, they took about 10,000 women and said, what is the right time to get pregnant? So depending on whether you want 1 child or 2 children, whether you want it naturally only, or whether you're open to IVF, they came up with an algorithm which said, when should you have a child? So if you want to have 2 children and you don't want IVF, your first child should be by the age of 27. If you want to have 2, if you want to have only 1, then by 32 you can start.
Right.
If you're open to doing an IVF and you want 2 children, by the age of 31, you should be having your first IVF. If you're open to IVF and you want only 1 child, you can wait till the age of 35.
Because we are living in a modern world where, people don't even want to get married before 35 now. I mean,
Yes.
I'm not saying in all areas, but like in urban pockets, and as the world is getting more liberalized, people want to get married at 35. I mean, it just doesn't make sense in terms of family. And I know that globally the fertility rate is decreasing in general, apart from certain sects and certain countries. So I feel like, how the population is going to crash. But do you feel like because of this rise in infertility, I mean, like the populations will really crash that high?
I do feel that is going to happen, and people will have to depend more and more on treatments, IVFs. I do have a lot of couples who come in and, the argument they give is people are getting pregnant. It's not that beyond 35 people are not getting pregnant naturally, proving what I've just said as wrong. They can have 2 children as well. But when you're talking about a generalization, which is going to affect positively or negatively a big, huge population, then numbers have to come in.
Right.
And I always tell people that if you want something in life, you should be willing to give something else. So if you're going to push your fertility to a later age, you must be open to the prospect that you could and possibly require some treatment.
There was some news recently, I think 6 months back or 1 year, at least that's when I saw it, that there are these fancy companies coming nowadays, like these fancy tech companies who can make babies inside a metal chamber. I mean, do you think that's even practical?
So till now we've got donor eggs and stuff like that, but we haven't really been able to outsource surrogacy into a machine that we put a baby inside there, take the baby out after 9 months and just kind of deliver it. Yet, yes, the technology exists and is working. So it's been tried for animals and it's been tried for very small babies. But of course, because of ethical issues, it's been banned across the world, I'm sorry. Probably if in secretive, it must be going on somewhere. But people were very close to breakthrough.
Right. But far from now, at least.
Far from now.
I mean, maybe when we are in a crisis, I guess.
Yes.
If we are going through an apocalypse, maybe. But Dr. Rajiv, thank you so much for coming. It was a great pleasure having you.
Thank you so much for having me here. I've been waiting for this for a very long time, and I've been watching your shows grow by leaps and bounds over the last couple of months and years. So it's my honor.